Previously on Unreliable.
I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there.
The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways.
But I can't put it off anymore. I need to head to those botanical labs and talk to this Adelaide lady. I can't shake the feeling that I'm working for the bad guy here.
Rank alleys with the stink of decay, stamped down under boots of the company. Slave spirit, propagate and obey. Trust up in the hog ties of industry. Live to produce and produce to consume. It's all you know now. Suffering long as you breathe in the fumes. Still here they go, selling you the sky and the stars. Always gotta push it too far. Ain't no profit in my pride. You can't put a price on me. Selling you the sky and the stars. Revenue is all that you are. Ain't no profit in my pride. You can't put a price on living free.
It's time to head out. Looks like a hike to get there, but I doubt I'll have any great revelations on the way.
Come out!
We got this! Nice one! You did it!
How many of these marauders are there? Every time I stick my nose out of town, I get jumped by these goons.
Wow, not even a stretch!
Thank you! Hey!
Move along, stranger. We don't want any trouble.
If you're hungry, there's meat turning on the spit outside. If you're bearing illness, find a place to lay your head down and I'll fetch you a poultice. Whatever your troubles with Edgewater, leave them at the gates and be welcomed here. Any questions, dear?
You must be Adelaide.
I have been called that, among other things. Green Thumb, grandmother, the strange old lady who keeps flowers. But yes, Adelaide will do just fine.
Excuse me, Miss McDevitt? Sorry, it's just... You got such pretty trees in here.
Why, thank you. You're Robert's girl, aren't you? I remember when you were but a sprout. Thomas speaks of you often. Are you staying long? You should try some of my tobaccorn tea. I brew it in an old spittoon, but it's been cleaned.
Is this your greenhouse?
No, dear. The garden belongs to us all. Life is the gift of the universe, and the universe yields its bounty equally, absent of prejudice.
I'm surprised you managed to grow anything out here.
The soil around the Vale went sour years ago, but I found a way to sweeten it back up. The secret recipe is a little bit of elbow grease, a dash of love, and a heaping pile of special fertilizer.
Looks like you've made a home for yourself out here.
A home for anyone who's ever turned their backs on Edgewater. a home for those of us with nowhere left to go and nothing to lose. So, like the spores of the puffball, cast on the wind and alighting on fresh soil, we put down new roots.
Why did you leave your old home?
It is an unpleasant story, dear. But the short of it is that sometimes one wakes up and realizes the place that was once her home for much of her life has changed. The home in which we spent our lives has left us behind, and so we must move on. And that is as much as I will say on the subject.
Reed sent me to make peace with you.
Reed Thompson? You here on behalf of that cold-eyed reptile? Let's hear it. What's Reed's idea of peace, then?
Reed asks you to consider coming back to town. He's willing to make amends.
Make amends? Spare me. Only thing Reed knows how to make is a mess. Like everything else that comes out of Edgewater, that peace offering is canned. I and my own are living just fine out here by ourselves.
This is serious. I'm about to cut off your power.
You're doing this for Reed? Why?
Your camp has a power regulator, and I need one for my ship.
Cannery's got a regulator. You want ship parts, you ought to rip 'em out of the cannery's guts and leave us be. If you're going down to the plant, you should divert power away from Edgewater and toward our end of the grid. Think about it. You'd be liberating an entire town from a lifetime of service to that odious cannery. Seems the sort of thing a hero would do.
A hero to you, maybe.
A hero to the people who matter. To us. To the ones who come around. To the ones you save. Reed will never understand. He has been too long inebriated on the wine of corporate culture. All he sees is productivity, output, profits.
Let's say I help you. What happens to Edgewater?
Life in Edgewater grinds to a halt. The cannery shuts down, workers desert in droves, and our own little camp grows and thrives.
You think Reed's just trying to spite you?
You bring power to Reed's town and you'll be killing us. Reed knows it. He's counting on it.
What have you got against the town?
You've seen that miserable excuse for a town with your own lamps. Hollowed out workers laboring their lives away at the cannery, living off whatever scraps Spacer's choice throws them. You know that's true, don't you, Ms. Holcomb? Your father died of overwork. His heart gave out.
He was tired all the time, sure, but he was old, ma'am, and he raised me all by his lonesome.
Look what they did to this child. Lost her family to the company, and still she defends them.
What do you have against people just trying to make a living?
It's not much of a living. Every single person in that town has sold themselves to Spacer's Choice. The company owns them. Body, blood, and bones. You've been there. You've seen it. All anyone ever does is toil over a cannery. They give their lives for some heartless corporation, and then they're tossed into a Spacer's Choice brand cemetery.
I guess you have a point.
So, what do you say? Divert power over to us. Shut down that abominable cannery for good.
No promises. I'm not really sure what to make of Adelaide. She talks all, I'm a loving grandmother, but doesn't hesitate to use Parvati's old man to manipulate her, or to use the, you'll be a hero line on me. I've talked about being a hero a lot, but I know I'm no hero. I'm just doing what I can to help the guy that saved my life save some other people. It's the least I can do. Anyone trying to be a hero is not a hero. Anyone telling you that you will be a hero doesn't want you to be a hero.
I always wanted to poke around in here.
vault. Investigate.
Chaos everywhere. Mechanicals gone haywire. Gunfire, hearing some screams. Oh law, I think that was someone's leg. Would like to leave early for the day. Please deduct delinquency fee from my pay. Thank you. Proud to be a member of the Spacer's Choice family. Mechanicals gone crazy, huh? That explains the robots outside. And all the dead folks.
The control room should be off to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing.
Unexpected noise sweeping the area.
Down they go! That's the last of them!
Edgewater Geothermal Plant operating at 22% efficiency. Power is currently being distributed to Edgewater Saltuna Cannery and Botanical Laboratory. Warning. Structural damage detected. Please notify your designated supervisor. Warning. Safety failures detected. High likelihood of moderate to severe structural damage. Warning. Redirecting power is an irreversible procedure. Processing. Error. Power redirection function has failed. Manual override required. Please activate all 3 electrical track switches.
One thing that hasn't changed in the 70 years I was asleep. Nothing's ever easy. Can't just flip the switch. I gotta wander all over a power plant full of killer robots and flip a bunch of other switches first. It's like trying to fix a tractor and they use 5 different kinds of screws for no damn reason. Alright, at least shooting the robots doesn't make me feel bad.
Unexpected.
Oh!
Investigating.
Everyone all right?
It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's Choice.
No, just leave me alone.
What the hell was that?
Get away!
There's somebody alive down there. I guess the mechanicals can't climb ladders.
Get away! You're not real. You're not real. You're not real. You're not real. Get away from me, Phantom. Shoot! Scram!
Calm down. I'm not trying to hurt you.
You can talk? The Phantom's never talked before. I knew I shouldn't have eaten that sprat raw. See, Higgins? This is why you must always boil your sprats before ingesting.
Slow down and tell me what's going on.
Clearly I mistook you for one of the phantoms of my imagination, which terrorized me on occasion. Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely not insane. I use it as a reminder.
How long have you been down here?
Hard to say. By my reckoning, Higgins has been here somewhere between 2 weeks and forever. My recollection's a touch fuzzy these days.
Uh-huh. And what exactly do you do here?
Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna Critic, Aetherwave Personality, Chairman of the Board, Galactic Defender, Sisty Pig Tycoon. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer right here in this plant.
What happened to this place?
Mechanicals lost their bolts, opened fire on anything that moved. It was pandemonium.
That's horrible. How could this have happened?
You mean, why did the mechanicals go on a murderous rampage? Same reason any of us do, I suppose. The voices told them to do it. I was on cleaning duty at the time. My old boss had me scrubbing pipes when the killing started. So, as usual, I missed out.
You mentioned being an engineer?
I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentries. Repaired them, maintained, upgraded. Did it all from my old workroom just over in the next section.
If you worked on these mechanicals, you must know a way to stop them.
Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the mechanicals. If they wise up to our plans, they will come for us. With prodding irons.
I can deal with the mechanicals. I made it this far, didn't I?
You know, you remind me of myself back when I was an intergalactic adventurer. I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their targeting protocol so they attack each other instead.
Mechanicals follow the programming in their logic module. Someone tampered with it.
Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also versed in the noble art of mechanical engineering. There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to change how the mechanicals act, including whom they shoot at. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access the behavior control terminal. Here, let me just write it down for you.
I'll just excuse myself. This is the security terminal. Let's see if we can short-circuit these mechanicals.
Auto mechanicals in this facility have been mandated to target intruders. Any attempt to alter this setting is punishable by company law. This infraction has been noted in your permanent record, C. Higgins. Please see your supervisor to schedule a reprimand. Intruders. Any persons or entities not identified as property of Spacer's choice. Would you like to modify the definition of intruders? Updating definition, intruders. Definition of intruders has been successfully updated. Modified definition successfully forwarded to security. Please allow some time to process and remove all recently defined intruders.
It's robot fighting time.
CNPs, we know ours is NPs.
Just two more. Good to go. That's the last. I'm not sure what the right is. Alls I know is the decision's final.
That's all three. I hope there aren't any more hoops to jump through.
Once we do this, there's no going back. Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do?
I wouldn't mind hearing your opinion.
I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished.
Reed tells me Edgewater's gonna die without workers and power.
That sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way.
The deserters are a community. I can't just destroy what they built.
Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow she's talked the ground into giving life again. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Do you really want to be party to that kind of hatred?
I see your point. I think I'm ready to make a decision.
Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something.
I'm glad you did. I like hearing from you.
Really? I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
Parvati is skittish as a field mouse, but she's smarter than 3 of me. It would be a bad idea to ignore her advice. And whether I like Reed or Adelaide doesn't matter. Edgewater can support everyone there, plus all the deserters. The labs cannot hold or support everyone in Edgewater. So Edgewater gets the power.
Edgewater Geothermal Plant operating at 22% efficiency. Power is currently being distributed to Edgewater Saltuna Cannery and Botanical Laboratory. Warning. Structural damage detected. Please notify your designated supervisor. Warning. Safety failures detected. High likelihood of moderate to severe structural damage. Warning. Redirecting power is an irreversible procedure. Are you sure you want to continue? Please select a destination. Power successfully redirected to Edgewater. Botanical Laboratory power regulator is now safe to remove. Edgewater Saltuna Cannery power regulator now operating at optimal capacity.